How about you? I'm Hank. Today we're going to be talking about long bottom grapples with like dual clamshells or dual lids. And then we're also going to talk about root rake style grapples with just a single clamshell, single lid type deal. This one's got the 2 cylinders, but I borrowed these grapples from a friend. They're made by Catawba Attachments. I've got some videos that I'll put on the end of this video or toward the end of the video. We're showing the root rake digging up a massive stump with a 6-foot taproot. And it's also got I'll put another video with this long bottom grapple doing some odds and ends like varying weights and balances, sizes, loads. That's where this thing really shines. But let's look at it kind of, between the two of them. They each serve a purpose. And at the end of, I'm just going to, spoiler alert, here's the spoiler alert. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one you get. They both serve a purpose, but a grapple is better than no grapple. All right, so let's take a look at both of these Catawba attachments, and then we'll go over some uses. All right, here's the website for Catawba attachments if you want to take a look at them. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick up a load with this long bottom, and it's a load, right? It's a pile of debris laying in the ground, and we're gonna pick it up where I think the long bottom would do a better job than a root rake. So let's go pick up that. So here's a random pile of like 4x4s, some concrete mesh, stuff like that. There's a dog that we might be able to pick up. But this is where the long bottom is going to come in a lot better than your root rake style. And then there's a couple of pieces of wood and concrete over here as well. We'll dig it out. I'll probably save that piece of metal because I always use that for like shooting houses and things like that. And I told myself, this random stuff, I'm just going to pick them up and get rid of them. They've been laying in the yard for a year or two, and if I haven't used them yet, then I'm not going to use them. So let's get this picked up with that long bottom and see how it works. All right, here we go. One thing about after using a clamshell root rake style for so many years, I'm like, oh crap, this thing's a little longer than the other ones. Close down on it. I'm gonna go make sure I got everything here. All right, so there you go. So loads like this is ideal, right? It only left this little piece here. Now it does have the opening so dirt will fall out, so that's a good thing, right? But this is exactly what this stuff is designed to do. Pick up loads like that, and also like if I have a tree that is heavy on one side or fat on one side and skinny on the other. Make sure I ain't got oh yeah, here's another one. I thought I had 2 down here. See if I got any more metal on the ground so I don't run over it with my lawnmower. Looks like I got it all. Okay, so let's go dump this into the dump trailer and go clean up this area behind the barn. That big floor, if you will, is nice to maintain all that debris and stuff. So this is going to be 2 different scenarios here. We got all this debris, trash, blocks, landscape cloth, bricks, all kind of stuff. There's a cinder block over here. So this is what we're going to take off with the long bottom. But this side over here, the fence, the netting, the T-post, the wire, the hog panels. We're going to swap to the root rake grapple and get it with the root rake grapple. That's the plan. So let's see how this works. All right, there's the first thing. Now, what sucks is I'm gonna put a lot of extra weight I don't need to pay for in this dump trailer, but it is what it is, you know. All that landscape cloth, man, that stuff's heavy. Just have to get it all bunched up. Clamp that down like that. Okay, this is torn, that's good. Let's see here. If I can tear this, that'll be better. Maybe not. No. So it's doing a really good job of scraping all this up, getting it together, piling it up or whatever. So I'm just gonna work my way, finish this up, get it dropped into the dump trailer, and then we'll work the fence with the root rake grapple. She gave me strict instructions not to mess with that eucalyptus tree. You just keep coming doing this over and over until you get it all picked up. So you can see the advantages of the long bottom grapple cleaning up debris like this, right? So let's finish cleaning this up here, and then we'll switch over to the root grapple and start pulling the hog panel out. But we'll get all this cleaned up right quick. Okay, we got most of this cleaned up. Just a few little things that we're going to have to clean up with our hands now because that's just the nature of the beast. But on these long bottom grapples, they have serrated edges here, but not throughout the whole floor, if you will, of the grapple, which is a good thing because that allows you to dump your load faster, smoother, easier without getting hooked up on anything. So serrated edges have their purpose, but you don't really want serrated edges on something like this. Maybe just enough to hold the bottom. You know, the intent of this style of grapple is to get this debris up and get it dumped into a trailer, moved into a brush pile, whatever. And you don't really need that serrated cutting power / clamping power for the jobs that this thing is designed to do. Now that this part's done, let's switch over to the root rake and get the fence out of here. Now that we've shown what the long bottom can do, let's go ahead and take a look at this root rake and how the clamping power and clamping style of this single lid, this clamshell, will help with like the fence row and all that stuff. So let's go do that. This is where the clamshell single lid root rake style is going to really work better than the long bottom, because I can't get the long bottom up under here and the forks, I mean the lid over it and stuff like that. So what I can do here with the clamshell, and I'll demonstrate this here in a sec, I'll come on top of it and clamp it down. Then we can get all this fence row here, all that fence row there, all the posts, all that stuff's going in the trash because I'm sick of looking at it. And then we can finish up this section over here. You know, the long bottom did great. The long bottom did great for this side over here, but I can come in with the grapple, with the root rake style, get this huge bushes here. These are actually some type of plants. I can't remember what they are. We got them here for a reason. And then we're not going to touch the eucalyptus tree, but we can come in, I can pick up, you know, a brick. So each grapple has its place is what I'm telling you. And again, these are the Catawba attachments. Go check out their website, Cattachments, or CATT attachments.com. They build a very, very good product. But let's go start picking up this fence. Get all this set out of the way here. Now I can use it, I can curl down, clamp on it. Now you can't do this with the long bottom. So that's a little more, you know, a little more convenient in a lot of cases. I'm gonna T-post I dropped there. Don't want to run over that with my tractor tire. And a back kind of straddle that so I don't run over it. How you can kind of get a little more precision, in my opinion, with the root rake than the long bottom, but each one has its place. Like I can get in here, get all these up here. I get closer to the house with the pulling power of the root rake. So you can curl the top of it there, close it up. Puts a pretty good clamp on that load you got there. Now this ought to be fun, because I grabbed the everything together. See these serrated edges? They'll hang on to that. There we go. Look at that. Something else this clamshell will do that the long bottom won't do is get up close and personal, right? I don't recommend back dragging anything that's of any substance. But what you can do is you can take that shell, the lid, get up close to here and back drag these bushes out. And we'll go ahead and do that. Where that long bottom just won't do that. All right, so let's take the lid of this, tilt it down, back drag those bushes out. Get to the end, turn that hammer knocker over like that. Now you got all that brush to get. So each grapple has its place, right? We're going to finish grabbing up all this stuff, loading it up in the trailer, and then talk about some construction of each particular grapple from Catawba Attachments, and then let you decide, hey, what fits your needs the best. And I wanted to say this real quick before we move on is August is running out, and we have a HF5 discount code at hamiltonvillefarm.com. You can save 5% on all the website through the end of August. So go check it out. T-shirts, knives, hats, things like that. Your choice if you want a long bottom or a root style grapple. But I will tell you this, after borrowing the Catawba Attachments implements, man, they are fantastic. I did mention this earlier in the video. I did borrow these from a friend, so I got to give them back. I wish I could keep them. Because I'm telling you, this hammer knocker right here is a fine grapple. There's no doubt about it. And then obviously, you know, some people are going to say, how does that compare to the Homestead implements? Because they know I was partnered with Homestead for many years. We still love the company. This is on the same quality. This is the same quality as the Homestead grapple. And now that I've seen one in person, let me tell you why this might even edge out a Homestead. I'm not saying it does, but let me tell you why it may very well edge out. And it's one simple reason, right? It's these serrated gussets right here. These serrated gussets on each bar. Homestead Implements doesn't have that. And that makes a lot of difference, you know? So they're both fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my Homestead Implement stuff. But if I was to buy one today, it would be hard not to buy a Catawba Attachments root style grapple. The long bottom stuff, if you have a need for the long bottom style grapple, this thing works fantastic too. Again, the welds, the build quality, the craftsmanship of this particular grapple is fantastic. But, you know, I feel like in my personal use, I just use the root rake grapple more than I would the long bottom. Now, you know, there's a lot of guys that watch this channel that are into the woodworking, as far as not woodworking as in like building tables and chairs, but like getting logs out of the woods, cutting down trees, things like that, timber work. Those guys would probably find the long bottom more useful because of the ability to handle odd size loads. Plus you have that floor, if you will, to help hold the logs. Now, where you can use a root rake for that is once you clamp that log into that clamshell, then you can cut the ends off of it, and it still holds pretty securely inside the grapple. Unless you have a big daggum log in there, if you put a log in here with that opening and cut the ends off of it, then it may have a tendency to shift or something like that. You close in on that hammer knocker, and it ain't going nowhere, you know. But go check out Catawba Attachments. Again, I got to give these back. So, you know, it's I think you'll be impressed with them. They fast lead times because they only do black in the front end attachments. I think they only do yellow in the back end, like 3-point attachments. So with that being said, that helps them cut their lead times down to 1 to 2 weeks. So if you order the product, a week or two later, you got it in your driveway. I think don't quote me on this, but I think the website did say free shipping to the lower 48. If not, they've got like a radius of free shipping. So just go put in your zip code or whatever. I can't remember exactly what their details are on that. Military discount for sure, which I like, you know. And, you know, it's made in America. So you can't go wrong with any of that stuff. So I think you're going to like them. The tests that I've done with them have proven to be very, very, very good. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll put this grapple video right here. You got to go check it out. Remember, Jesus loves you.